Boom! We are live. I am Stan Shields. I am here with Dr. Victoria Boyd. We are back again for another version of Systems Summits Live. We're broadcasting live on Facebook and on YouTube. So if you're watching us on YouTube, please make sure that you thumbs up, you like the video, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're on Facebook, make sure you follow us. And I think you can like on Facebook as well, right? It's something like that. What's that? What does that mean?
Following us.
Follow us. That's it. Follow us. So make sure you follow us. Follow, like, subscribe, whatever it might be, whichever platform you're on. If you're a replay viewer, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you being here. Now, we have a fun show today. This is the part of our speaker showcase where we're going to introduce speakers who are going to be speaking at the next Systems Summit. Now, before we dive into that, though, let's have Dr. Boyd tell us a little bit about Systems Summits. What is Systems Summits?
And welcome, everybody. Yes, Systems Summit is a program of the Philantrepreneur Foundation, a nonprofit that provides education, awareness, and resources. The pandemic caused us to make many changes, but actually it was still in our path of what we wanted to do, because over 2 years ago, we were looking at doing virtual programmings. We launched some, and we're really looking at seriously doing a virtual conference. The pandemic made us look quicker, faster at that program, and we expanded who we can serve, micro businesses and nonprofits. So Systems Summit is a series of summits presented 4 times per year: January, April, July, and October. We feature industry experts from around the world that can bring tips, strategies, and insight all in an educational platform so that you can really learn about different systems and processes that you need to be more effective and efficient within your business. Our theme for January is passion, purpose, and profits. One of my favorite topics, because the entire Philantrepreneur Foundation, philanthropy and entrepreneur, it is linked together, and that's what I believe. And so Systems Summit, January, we will sort of dive deep into passion, purpose, and profits, and how having passion in your business can really increase its credibility and validity. So check out Systems Summits at .com and see what it's all about. Our waitlist is open right now. Registration will open January 9th, and we are excited to bring some of the fabulous dynamic speakers that we will have at that summit. 2 days, you can access it free for 48 hours, systemsummits.com.
Awesome, perfect. And now today with us as one of those speakers is Betty Withrow. So why don't you introduce Betty Withrow to the group?
I met Betty. She actually reached out to me. I had posted something in one of the groups on Facebook. We're both in several groups together. And she asked a question and we connected. We ended up having several conversations and realized we have, a lot of things in common. A lot. And from that point, it was a no-brainer of how we could work together, not only with her being a presenter at Systems Summit, but with my author program that is under the Philantrepreneur Foundation, because she is the owner and CEO of the Writer's Launchpad. And if any of you know me, you know I have published many books. I love to write. In fact, Stan will say, you mention an idea, the next thing I have a whole blog out about what you were talking about, like within hours. So
blog? You have a book out. She puts books out like crazy. Holy moly. It's like it's either an ebook or a regular book or whatever. Holy moly. Anyway.
Yeah, so what Betty does really just spoke to me. And she is from the West Coast. She's in California. And we're just evolving as business partners. And she's going to tell you more about what she actually does. But I think what she focuses on will really bring value to entrepreneurs and small businesses because they really need to think more about the content that they're putting out, because content is forever, especially on the internet. So it needs to be good because you don't want to make a bad impression. So with no further me talking, welcome, Betty, to the show. I'm so excited to have you as a speaker for System Summit and to be on System Summit Live.
Wow, what a great welcome. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Victoria. I really appreciate you bringing me on. And as you pointed out, we kind of struck a chord right away. I feel aligned with your mission very much. I'm all about entrepreneurs. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 16, and I have delved into many different types of markets. I made a list one time of all the different things I've bought and sold, and it's quite extensive. And I love to write. So I landed on the mission of writing for entrepreneurs because I always hear that people don't have time to create their content. And so what I say is, don't not have time, have me, and get it done.
I'm glad you brought up, because our first theme back in October was time. You know, the lack of time, how time was killing entrepreneurs, and you're a perfect strategy or a perfect solution to those that need content written but just don't have the time. Love it, love it, love it.
Mm-hmm.
Sam, were you trying to say something?
No, yeah, I am, but that's kind of how that goes sometimes. Let's see, but Betty has got such an interesting background, including ranching, and so. And so, Betty, maybe what you could do is just take a minute and maybe tell us your story. Tell us, kind of how did it all begin? What made you decide to, your path, your journey of getting here to this point of being, doing what you're doing today?
Okay. Well, I'm a lifelong language person. When I was a kid, I was always hauling around the dictionary and going to and from the library and competing in the spelling bee and taking every English class I could get. So, and foreign language as well, because I'm all about language. And I encountered a powerful mentor who was a top level teacher, and I had no idea how awesome she was until I stepped into her class. And what I learned from her changed me forever. She taught me rhetoric and the arts of persuasion, and was very, very meticulous in how you use language. And then I jumped out. Life happened, and I landed on a ranch. I mean, that's a long story, but and so I raised a family and a ranch and businesses, and I used all the tools that I had learned to make successful sales conversations happen as I pursued different businesses, food service, handmade fashion, whatever was going to carry the day. I got into it and made it happen. And then later on, I started to realize that I knew things that I thought other people knew and they don't. So that it would be wise for me to apply that and be of service in the way that I'm doing now of being here for other entrepreneurs and working with them collaboratively to get their marketing materials coordinated. That's kind of the short version. I mean, there's more to it than that, Stan, but that's how I got here.
Okay, great. Now, is there a specific industry, that you focus on, a specific style of writing, or, what do you look for in particular in terms of who are you going to work with?
I like people who are open-minded and flexible, and they're active, they're decisive, and they make action happen. It doesn't have to be a specific industry, although health and wellness people, I really coordinate well with them, and they always need content and they never have time. So that's that. And I'm working with someone on a martial arts content delivery collaboration. And I love martial arts. I mean, martial arts is a great personal development tool. That's what we're going to focus on. And, so anyone who's really action oriented, that's my preferred client, but and action can be on any level. It doesn't have to be physical.
Yeah.
Okay.
And And another great thing she does, if you think about content, she does blogs. She can do book items. There's so many different areas where the narrative content is needed. And so many entrepreneurs aren't utilizing all of these platforms that are free to everyone that could be another totally new level of marketing. And she could provide all of that content. And that's really exciting because what she does align with our authors program, which is allowing business owners to become authors. So in addition to, really matching and targeting and being, I envision her of being of so much value to our System Summits audience. It overlapped and was almost a domino effect of how she could help so many of our audience that we try to support. So she brings a wealth of information, a wealth of skills and expertise. What can I say? Content is king, as they say. I've seen that
That's
phrase
right.
so many times. Content can make you or break you.
That's right. So now, with regard to the content, you and I were, Dr. Boyd, you and I were talking about this yesterday a little bit, is that is one of the pieces that's missing for so many small business owners is they have virtually no content or stagnant content on their websites or their social media, whatever, so that they're just not being found. Right. And so this whole concept of attraction marketing is kind of lost on a lot of small business owners because they're used to thinking of marketing from the standpoint of, advertising, outbound marketing, rather than how do I attract these people in. So someone like Betty then can help them with the blogs or with even writing a book or some of that. Now, do you do content such as, let's say somebody has a landing page, they want it like more like sales copy or any of that kind of stuff? Do you get into any of that at all?
Yeah, that's part of my focus, is to create content that can be repurposed on a sales page, in a blog, on your flyers, in your email, whatever it is that you're using. The same messages, I can break them down into bullet points so that people can put them on the different social media platforms based on, what's best for that particular platform. They can grab that phrase, put it on their Instagram or whatever. And so, yeah, I do that. That's actually my favorite part, is to put together something that lights people up when they read it and they go, hey, this person's paying attention. They get me. They understand who I am. And, in my writing system, I talk about speaking in the language of your market. So when I talk with business owners about who their market is, then I can tailor what I write for them specifically to that audience.
Absolutely. And go ahead, Stan.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, the title of her topic for System Summit, it immediately attracted me because one of my icons is a golden apple. And so, Betty, tell us the title.
I thought about that when I saw you. I thought about that.
Tell us the title of your topic, Betty.
My topic is the 3 golden apples for business writing success. And when Victoria told me that she has a golden apple icon too, I went, it was meant to be. Right.
Yeah, my first book even has the golden apple. In fact, my first 2 books have that golden apple on the cover. It's amazing. It was sort of scary, all of the things that were coming.
I know. It's like,
so what's the story around the golden apple? Why a golden apple in the first place? I mean, I've seen Dr. Boyd's The Wealthy Teacher Show had the golden apple, and I thought, oh, that's cool. It's a golden apple. But now you've got this golden apple, and it's got to do with writers and stuff. So what's the story behind a golden apple?
Okay. So I mentioned the ranch, and one of the biggest crops that we grew at the ranch was apples. I mean, I was literally inundated with apples every autumn. You remember apple bonkers from Yellow Submarine? That was my life. And so when I was working with a coach to develop my program, she said it needs to be the 3 golden something. And so I said, apples. And because the apples just landed. I wasn't even thinking about it. And she went, that's it. I went, okay, well, that's it. You know, it hit both of us simultaneously that was the place. So
Yeah.
I went with that.
And plus, apples are easy. Many people assimilate or relate apples to education,
Right.
and so that's
Mhm,
why totally why I picked the apple icon, because I am a teacher, will
Right.
always be a teacher.
Right.
But it's easy to make that icon fit what the meaning or the purpose of that training. You know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That's right. Apple for the teacher.
Got it. Okay. Very good. So, I think you've already answered one of the other questions I had was what's going to be that topic for the summit, but what's really the core of what's the message you're really trying to get across to people?
Well, that things can be simple. The three golden apples distills the three central principles of the art of rhetoric into modern language and tools that people can use right away. I took the knowledge that I got from my mentor, and because I realized that most people are not interested in the intellectual side of this. Let's face it, and let's make it useful so they can use it to create sales for themselves. And so that it's language, choice, and outcomes. That's the boil down into 3 words of what I'm going to present. Speaking in the language of your market, presenting yourself as the best possible choice by highlighting your skills and expertise, and presenting outcomes that the customer is going to be able to relate to and creating success. When you put those 3 elements together, you got it.
And that's almost the whole formula for creating any type of presentation. And if you look at a lot of the language on System Summit is providing a simple, action-oriented solution, simple solution, you know, that they can, as soon as they finish watching it, they can do something or have something that they can go ahead and implement almost immediately. Perfect alignment. I mean, I think especially once, and I'll say business owners have that aha moment that, oh my God, I have not been doing any content development. I really, and it's not about writing these long, you know, essays or dissertations. A blog can be less than 500 words, you know, as long as you put a link that sends it back to your website and you connect it. It doesn't have to be these things. You can have an idea and then break it down into 5 different blogs, you know, so it's making business owners have these aha moments. And I think just getting them to recognize the value of writing or content and making and creating and putting out something that people can see constantly is so valuable. That's the value that I think you're going to bring to the summit, that you're going to open the eyes and make these entrepreneurs, micro businesses, nonprofits have that aha moment in a platform that's free to do. Basically, it's free.
Right.
Yeah. So there's really a couple of things that both of you have said that really stands out. One of them, Betty, from what you're saying, I have a favorite quote, and that is, if you're speaking to everyone, you're speaking to no one. Okay. And you really drove that point home, I think, as you're talking about them knowing who is their ideal customer. So who are they talking to, right? So that they can now write their content with that person in mind. How many small businesses are you seeing that maybe come to you that really aren't that clear on that yet?
I think that probably
all of them.
Yeah, all of them, because people, what tends to happen is people don't realize, number one, they have a specific target audience that is their number one go-to, and then they don't realize how they can use that magnetism to draw in other people that aren't necessarily that target audience. So that having that full clarity of exactly who you serve is really key. I mean, once I realized that, hey, you know, my mission is to support entrepreneurs because that's me, and you know, like, I learned all this stuff in the field. Why not put it out there for other people so they can have success too? That all of a sudden things started to click for me. you know.
Yep.
And that's the key, is creating that magnetism of who exactly. And like Doctor was saying, that most people don't really understand that yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And then the other key that came out of what you both said was the consistency, right? And I am so guilty of this myself, and that is, I say, okay, I'm going to go on this. I'm going to start writing these blogs. I'm going to just write a blog. I'm going to do at least one a week, and I do like 3, and then it fades off, and I don't get any more done, right? So,
and the reason, and you want to know, the reason that happens is because you don't get immediate feedback, and therefore you think that it's not having an impact. The value of it is that you're consistently building your credibility. And even though you can't tangibly see the results or the value of it, people are out there reading. I get comments or things, posts or likes months after a blog might have been posted, but then I might hear from somebody who said, yeah, I read your blog, or somebody, maybe they didn't like it or click, and react to it, but they read it. And so that consistency is, we want immediate feedback on what we're putting out there to assess whether or not it's valuable. And that's where this content marketing, sometimes you have to just stay the course, have the faith that it's working, and keep it going.
There is a way to get that immediate feedback, right? And most people overlook it, or most small business owners overlook it because they're just not that familiar with it. But that tool is called Google Analytics. So you see, if you use Google Analytics, and if you have a WordPress website, you can upload Monster Insights onto it, and literally you can go look at it, and you can see that there are people reading your blog post. You'll see how many people clicked the link or came back over to your site from that, right? Or they visited that page. You'll be able to tell some of that. And so that's a great point. I actually never thought about that, in that, oh yeah, we are looking for immediate feedback, and we want to see that. And so if we find a way to get some of that, maybe. But then I like what Betty said with really planning, having a plan for, what you're going to write, how you're going to write, maybe taking that concept, breaking it down into 5 different posts. Something else Betty said that I think was great is taking some of the content and even breaking it down into smaller tweetable bites, right? So that you can take little quotes and phrases and bullet points or whatever and use them as tweets, or use them to post them with your Instagram post, right? Or something along those lines. Those are great ideas that people can use to use that content.
Yeah, and also, I don't know if entrepreneurs or the small business actually understand what that means. It's making sure that your branded message is consistent. Sometimes, I have to keep this tweet to 140 characters or 200, whatever it is. And so they just make sure, instead of say, here's your big message, now what are the biteable pieces? You create the elephant, now you create all the bites that create this overall. And so you have to have, what is the big picture goal? And then you pull out elements from that. And that's how, see, I'm visualizing. I always go into all this imagery when people are talking. I saw the elephant and all the little bites.
So now, is that part of what you do then with them, Betty? Do you help them break it down that way and understand how they can use all that?
Well, to a certain extent, I give suggestions. The main point is, breaking it down into those pieces, because each person has a different marketing strategy. Like if I'm writing an intro for a show host, she wants all her social links to be there. She wants those bullet points that she can put on her Insta, her LinkedIn or whatever for each. And so I make the whole intro and then put the bullet points so they can figure out where they want it to go. And I do tell people, I think this would be a good strategy for you. And by the way, I have a complete method for putting together your blog to write 6 months of blog posts in advance. I know how to do it. And I always have mine scheduled out for months in advance, so I don't have that pressure. That, oh no, what am I going to write about? I have a consistent plan. I know where I'm going, and I like I said, I write it, I put it out there, and then when it comes out, I can spread it across my different Facebook groups or whatever. And so, yeah, I talk to people about, how's this going to serve you? And, make suggestions like, if you don't have a YouTube channel, get one, and, and link everything back to each other,
right?
That kind of SEO. That's the whole point of doing it.
That YouTube channel is free, right? So why not have one?
Exactly.
Yeah. Anything free. And in fact, she mentioned, putting out her blogs. The first time we met, she was at that moment writing out and posting blogs for the next month or so, or however. She was in the midst of doing that, and that was the first week of January, or it might have been Christmas or whatever.
Yeah, it was around Christmas time, right? Yeah. So I've gotten through May now, and my goal is always to be at least 4 months out, preferably 6 if I can. Yeah.
Wow. Now, how many blog posts do you just
wow us.
Yeah.
Well, that's because if someone wants me to write, I don't want to feel pressured. Like, how am I going to do my own writing? It's done.
Yeah.
Right.
It makes total sense. Total sense.
Yeah, it does.
And the other thing about it is when you have a blog stand, you can, when people want to know what you're about, you can send them to your blog and then they can read it. Like if people go, hey, can you show me something you've written? I'm like, yeah, go visit my blog. And then they can see all the different things. And then if they still want client samples, fine, but they get a flavor of how I roll by reading my blog.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Wow.
Now, blog articles from you come out how often?
Once every 2 weeks.
Okay. Every 2 weeks. Okay. Interesting.
So that once every week rule is not a standing rule.
I know, right?
No, I don't think you should push yourself to do more than what works for you. I mean, actually, I'm working with a team to develop a once a week blog for them, for our shared business, which will be different from my personal business, and that'll be interesting. But they're shorter posts, and I'm going to get the points provided to me, so it's doable. But for me, every 2 weeks is good.
Okay.
Yeah. And the main thing is be consistent. Don't make one and then you disappear and then you come back. And if people know that your blog is coming out on a certain platform at a certain time, that creates trust. And that's that brand consistency that you want.
Gotcha. That's good. So what is it you love most about your business?
I love it when people go, oh, you mean I don't have to do that? I mean, I had this one guy where I said he was complaining that every time he wrote his copy, it looked horrible and he tore it up. I said, so don't write it. Make me a voice memo. I said, well, just write it. If it looks terrible, don't worry, I'll fix it. And he goes, oh, the stress. And I said, no, not the stress. Send me the voice memo. And then we can do this. That's what I love. And I love it when I make friends in my business that remain friends and we collaborate together and grow further projects. That's the perks of being an entrepreneur, is growing that community.
Absolutely. Wow. See, in just this short time, you sparked some ideas. You'll be look for email from me shortly, but
I will. Yeah. Have fun. This all happened so quickly. I mean, I'm just loving this because the energy is really fresh and it's super valuable. I've already learned from the video you sent me the other day, and I'm like, oh, I could do better than that too. So I'm going to keep going. Yeah, it's great.
All right. Perfect. Yeah. This has been great. So we went through 30 minutes really fast here. So now you have got a special offer also that you wanted to put out for people. So tell us what this is.
Okay, this is my online writing self-paced workshop. It's $67. It goes through the entire 3 Golden Apples program with videos and PowerPoints and tip sheets and worksheets. I really recommend it if people want to get clear about what their content is. And if they want to do it themselves, they'll have a really good roadmap for how to connect with their audience where they are, present themselves well, and position that they can create these outcomes. It's at thewriterslaunchpad.com, where there's other resources as well. You can learn more about me and look at my other specials, like my blog special. And so that's, I know that this is a high quality offering, and not everybody has time for a live workshop. So check it out.
So that was my next question. Is it a live workshop, or is it a pre-recorded workshop, or how does that work?
It's a pre-recorded one. I do have a live one coming up this Saturday, but I put this one on this video because I think this is an evergreen video. So
that's right.
The self-paced nature of it means that you can fit it in around your schedule, and then I encourage people to reach out to me for further support.
That's awesome. Great. And your information is scrolling across the bottom of the screen as well. So there you go, Dr. Boyd. Let's do that. Give a big round of applause for our guest, right? The virtual applause, right?
Great.
There we go. The virtual applause. There we go. What's that?
I said, thanks for having me, Stan. Nice to meet you.
Absolutely. So this was fun. I'm glad you were able to come on. So don't go away. All right. We're going to come back and chat for just a minute. So don't go away. All right. And so Dr. Boyd, any final messages with regard to Systems Summit?
Absolutely. Next week, tune in to Systems Summit show. We have two guests. We're going to have Elizabeth Clement. She's internationally best-selling author. Look for some of our posts, exactly what she'll be talking about. And we will have Kimya Scott, the marketing sparkler. I love the titles that she comes up with, but she's in marketing, social media, and things like that.
Social media queen.
Queen, yes.
Right,
so
queen.
These are two of our featured speakers that will be on the show, and we might even have more. Who knows? We're bringing them on and just trying to get into their schedules to bring them on the show live. And then on the 20th, we'll have a whole nother list of speakers. So yes, tune in to hear some of the speakers, and System Summit goes live in terms of registration January 9th.
Perfect. All right. So there you go. You got it. Make sure you tune in with us next week. And if you haven't done it already, make sure that you like, follow, or subscribe, depending on whatever the platform it is that you're on. And with all the platforms, make sure you share so that you share this information. Especially if you got value out of this, then make sure you share that out and share the love with the others. Okay. And so that's it for today. We will see you next time. And with that, we're going to play our favorite video. Ready?